What's going on, Timberwolves fans? How's it going? Happy Labor Day weekend to all of you. Yeah, we're in the midst of nothing going on in the NBA world this weekend. Not a single lick of Timberwolves news in terms of stuff that's happening with players on the team. So I figure we'll do a special episode and we'll do another trade episode. Yeah, I got 4 trades for you guys that I figure we can walk through. I've been seeing some comments about different players. Some I'd like to work through, and some I think that kind of makes sense, and I could see happening, and one that I think would actually break the heart of every single Timberwolves fan out there. So, without any further ado, let's not waste any time. I'm going to get you guys right into it with this first one. Saw a comment the other day about it. I hate this trade, and I think a lot of people do. One guy replied to him and said, "Hell no." And I'm going to double down on that and also say, "Hell no, we're not doing this trade." But logistically, I thought I would do it out so you guys could see what the money and type of players we could get back from this trade. So now this trade, bear with me. The cap is weird in this situation. It's obviously with the Sixers, and we'd be trading for Paul George. Now with that, we're going to get Jared McCain and Kyle Lowry. Obviously, they're each making about 3 million, but um, George is making 51.6 million a year. That's a problem for the cap. So we'd obviously be having to send back a bit of players because I don't even think Ant's making 50 million a year, and it's crazy that Paul George is. So we'd be sending Rudy, Dante, and Conley to them, and we'd be getting back those players. Now I don't hate getting McCann and Lowry in, but I do hate it for us having to get rid of Rudy because the only other guy who would be making close to Rudy money on the team is Randall, and I don't think it makes sense for us to get rid of Randall to get Paul George in. I would kind of see the Sixers taking Rudy on to pair him with Maxey, and they would obviously be moving on from Embiid, probably trading him in another trade with another team if they were to do this trade. That was a lot of time saying trade, but I think this does make sense to get a different point guard set in there. Obviously, we lose the shooting in Dante, but we gain it right back in a young shooting guard, point guard player in McCain. Kyle Lowry is a lot like Conley, veteran point guard, could mentor some of the young guys. We keep Rob in this deal. We'll probably lose a pick, unfortunately, which would suck. But we offload Rudy's contract and take on. We're gonna take on Paul George's. Not awesome there. I hate this one. I can't wait to see if you guys hate this one as much as I do in the comments. I love when you guys have something to say on whatever trade we're talking about or one that you guys have in your mind. But yeah, that's how the cap would work out on this. It's kind of ugly. We do save some money somehow. I hate it, despise it, don't like it. Um, Tell me what you guys think of it. We're not going to waste any more time on it. Let's move to this next one, which I do like. And I do kind of think he might be on the market this year, depending on how the Hawks go with this new look team that they have. Obviously, they're going to get Jalen Johnson back. Porzingis just got traded there. And I think they have some other pieces that are kind of coming together. They could make a run in the East this year. It feels like every team in the East is loading up to be good in the East, so they can at least make a deep run with the Pacers kind of down and the Celtics are kind of down. It's the Cavs, the Knicks, and everyone else. So it's kind of an open market in the East as far as I would say. And I could see the Hawks being one of the teams to make a run. But, if February rolls around, it's trade deadline time, and they're sitting there at the 10 seed, there's no way they're going to be content with being a playing team. They'll probably just look to start rolling over the roster in some way. And Trae Young might be the first guy out the door to help leverage the books there a little bit. So in this trade with us, we'd be getting Trae Young and Vit. Not even going to try to say his last name. You guys all know who I'm talking about. He's the white guy with all the tattoos that plays for the Hawks. Probably the worst NBA player in the league currently. And we'd get Muhammad Gay as well. Trae Young and 2 guys who are going to be bench players at best. But to get him, that's where things get kind of frustrating because Trae Young is still a good player. He's got a lot of life left in him. So we'd be giving up Conley, Dillingham, Miller, and the big piece of this trade is Julius Randle. I don't want to give up Randall, but I could see the Hawks taking him, accepting him in this trade solely because he's a hard player who's got a lot of life left, like Trey, and I think he could fit into that roster nicely. They've got a young point guard themselves over there in Atlanta, so not looking for a point guard. Jalen Johnson's a shooting guard, small forward type player. Kristaps at the center, and power forward could probably be Randall, and then you could probably play Conley at the point guard if you wanted. Trade probably would be better for them than us. We would just be getting Trey Young, so that's the best way that works out. Another trade that I don't really see Conley, Tim Conley, we're talking different Conley now. I don't see him wanting to go through with this one, but if Trey Young's out there and something like this is hovered over your head, how do you say no to that? It's kind of my thoughts on it. I do like it. I like Trey Young. I think he's a better player than he gets a rap for, and I don't think he would want out of there. And I don't really like it when guys get traded from the place they're drafted from, even though he was technically drafted to the Mavericks. But you know what I mean. NBA's got to fix that whole draft night thing. Guys should not be wearing different hats. It's 2025. Let's figure it out, NBA. Start your season the day of the draft. Let's go. Just work it in somehow. But anyways, Trey Young trade. I know we've had some people ask about him. I think he could be on the market this year, like I said. So let me know what you think of that one. Moving on, I think an important thing for the Timberwolves coming up in the near future is finding cheap depth for the bench. We saw Nah have to leave after the season because we couldn't afford him, so we did a sign and trade with the Hawks, actually. And we got to find more guys like that who we can keep around maybe only for 2-3 years, but they're serviceable guys who can come in, get good minutes, help elevate the roster on cheap deals. And a lot of the times to do that, you got to work some more expensive bench guys off the roster. So in this one, a team in the East, again, I think they are in a weird spot where they have a lot of young guys, but they could make a push because they just traded for BI. That kind of gives it away. I'm talking about the Raptors. Now, this trade, I actually don't mind this one. I would prefer this one actually happen. We'd be offloading Dante, Leonard Miller, and unfortunately Jalen Clark. But we'd be getting back Ochai Agbaji. I think I just butchered his name. Grady Dick, Sandro Mamukelashvili, didn't butcher that one somehow, and Jamal Shed. I like this one a lot. It gets us Ochai, who's a very good shooting guard player. He could come in and play like a Clark or honestly play like a Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Very similar to him, I feel like. Both sides of the court type of player. Grady Dick would be a young shooter, a lot like Dante. He could kind of fill that guard, small forward position off the bench for us. That's kind of what he's going to be doing there in Toronto this next season. Sandro is backup center minutes, maybe the third guy behind Naz Reid. And then Jamal Shed is a nice point guard piece that I have some interest in. I think we could develop him nicely. Even if we did end up putting him on a two-way, I think he could be a nice second, third point guard, depending on where the whole Rob thing's at this year. So the bench depth is a real problem across the NBA. And this one fills us out really nicely. I think it fills a lot of holes. And none of those guys are making double digits in their contract. We traded away Dante, who's making almost 12 mil, for Ochai making 6.3 this next year, Grady making almost 5 for 2 years, Sandro's making 2.5 for 2 years, and Jamal Shed's making almost 2 for 2 more years. So we're saving a lot of money on the books for guys who I think are at least serviceable and could help elevate the roster like we're talking about. That's what's important, and that's hard to find in these cheaper contracts. But those 4 guys would be perfect fits for the Timberwolves, and I would actually like this trade a lot. I'm a little biased because Ochai and Grady are both former Kansas Jayhawks, and that is who I have my allegiance to for Kansas or for college basketball. So a little biased, but I think they would fit nicely. And obviously, Sandro Mamukelashvili would be a new fan favorite without a doubt in my mind. Lastly, here is a trade that I absolutely despise, and I would never, ever, 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 ever make this trade, but if we're looking at saving money and actually getting our roster to a different place so that we can make some more moves and do some different things with the roster. This is one I could see us doing before he loses value and gets older, or he just doesn't keep developing. And we would be trading away Jaden. Obviously, you guys can read down below. Unthinkable trade here. We'd be sending Jaden and Leonard Miller again. That's 4 for 4. This guy cannot avoid getting traded tonight. We'd be sending him and Jaden for Rui, Marcus Smart, and Dalton Connect from the Lakers. It's not a crazy trade by any means. Jaden would slide in nicely into their roster, kind of post LeBron maybe. Like LeBron's not going to be there forever, so you could kind of slide Jaden in there wherever LeBron doesn't want to be. Luka and him are both kind of positionless. Jaden is a small forward, is probably where I'd put him at to be effective. Jaden could help that Lakers roster a bit, but they'd be losing some depth, and that's kind of what we'd be gaining here. Rui is a guy who I like. I think he is underrated. I think he's on a cheaper deal. Honestly, $18 million for him is not a gross overpay by any means. Marcus Smart's only making $5 million. That was a great deal that he signed with the Lakers. So to steal him away from the Lakers would be awesome. And Dalton Connect, young shooter, it would give us the ability to move on from someone like Dante DiVincenzo and save some more money there, get some more young guys in who can fill this kind of depth role that we've been talking about. So let me know if you guys would actually trade Jaden, because I would not. I wouldn't. I think it would affect Ant horribly. Those two kind of really like each other. They're the 1 and 2, the MJ and Pippen, if you will. But those are the 4 trades, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's trade episode. Weird trades, but keep dropping the trades that you guys want to see. I love making them, figuring out how it works in the cap, so keep doing that. Have a great rest of your Labor Day weekend. Hopefully the Timberwolves do something so we have some more news to talk about. And until the next episode, I will see you guys then. Take care. Timberwolves to end today's video. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about one. Let's go with Eric Pascal. Yeah, he was on the team for a second. Take care, guys. See you next time.